We've been together for 9 months. Met through work in a state neither of us are from, and we both dislike it here. He asked me to move with him to his home state and we agreed to do so at the end of the year as my grandmother was terminally ill and I wanted to be here to maximize time with her. She unfortunately passed earlier this week and it has been hard. Even harder the day after she died. He thought I was sleeping, but I wasn't, and I saw him texting his mom. He told her she hasn't done anything, honestly she's great, but that he had no business being in this relationship and knew he couldn't bring me home because he wants to spend time with friends and family and not have another person to worry about. Which to that I have no idea what he's talking about because I pay our rent. He moved in with me because he had roommates and I take care of more than half of our essential/non-essential expenses, have my degree, and generally take care of our home while encouraging his hard work towards moving up in his job as well as keeping a meaningful relationship with his best friend. So it's not like I'm dead weight. He was also planning out how he would move out of here, where he would go, how he would be the because I'm generally well liked by everyone around us. Throughout this his mom, who despite my most genuine efforts never really liked me because she doesn't think he should be dating in the first place, sat and told him he takes care of me too much and needs to focus on his own health. This conversation took place Monday. I was grieving my grandmother, so I didn't have time to process it, but it's now Friday morning, and I'm stuck in a numb shock. He has not skipped a beat in our relationship. He tells me how much he loves me. He wakes up in the middle of the night to pull me closer and say he doesn't know where I came from, but I'm perfect and all his. He still talks to my parents. I wouldn't know anything was wrong if I hadn't seen him send those texts. Is it possible there is something deeper going on with him and this is just where he can feel control? Or am I just being a clown and letting him use me for comfortability? I want to address him point blank, but part of me feels like why bother? If he wants to break up with me, he should just suck it up and do it. TL. Doctor. My BF and I have been waiting for my grandmother to pass for us to move closer to his family, and now that she has, he's talking to his mom behind my back about breaking up with me, but I only know because I saw him text her. Should I confront him directly hoping there's a deeper issue that can be worked out? Or should I just accept he's comfortable right now but doesn't see a future, like he says, and move on with my life? Edit for the confusion on how I was able to read this thread as it was happening. I had been sleeping for about an hour with my head on his chest. He had his arms around me and was texting with his phone down by his hips, so essentially directly in front of my face. And I just didn't move or indicate that I had woke up, which was wrong of me, and I shouldn't have been reading them. He's not a bad guy, and if he's just fallen out of love, that is devastating, but I hope he furthers his life in ways that make him happy. I think my main goal for posting this was to seek out if I should be the one to confront this, or if I should just hope he was having an equally stressful time and said those things out of stress and I should just give him the support he needs to figure it out, since he's been emotionally supporting me. Thank you to everyone who sent their support, and all the replies have gave me a lot to think about, but ultimately add up to I need to ask him questions I don't know the answer to and hope the conclusion is what's best for both of us. If the mom doesn't like you, it could be that he gets positive validation from his mom when he talks about leaving you or complains about you. So he tells her a story that she wants to hear. That is not a person I'd want to be with. Either the words he said are true, in which case you shouldn't let him take advantage of you, or the words he said are false, and no matter what you do, his mom will never like you because she thinks he doesn't like you, and your partner cares about making his mom happy at your expense. Neither is a good place to be. Mom will never like you because she thinks he doesn't like you, and your partner cares about making his mom happy at your expense. His mother doesn't know you, and the only source of the info is her BF. He keeps feeding her misinformation. Now that she believes in his lies, she will never like Opus. If you've confirmed that those texts are what they are and mean what they mean, then you can preemptively break up with him. Start your journey of healing on your own schedule rather than waiting for the hammer to fall. Does he get money from his mom? He may be lying to her or agreeing to get something. It doesn't really sound good. Definitely have a chat. Moving closer to his family doesn't sound like a solid plan if you're not going to have any support there. It sounds like he's been using you, or possibly just is not being honest with himself about the situation. Honestly, it sounds like it's more about him than it is about you. Maybe he think you're too good for him. Maybe he's just lost the feelings for you. Could be anything. It doesn't have to be some big significant thing. He might have just fallen out of love and feels like an idiot for struggling to stay with you. IDK. A lot of these comments are assuming the worst in this guy, but it could just be a basic breakup. I don't see his comments about someone to worry about as you being a dead weight of a person, just that he doesn't know how to handle you moving with him and trying to make sure you're happy there. There is literally no advice that anyone on the internet can give beyond talking to your boyfriend. Anyone giving any other advice is talking out their ass. All we know is you saw a private conversation that was between him and his mother, and that you took that conversation to mean he wants to break up with you. We aren't privy to that conversation. We don't have a transcript, just your retelling of it. Talk to your boyfriend about your future with him. Have a serious talk about it. Don't spring it on him. Tell him you want to go over it with him, and then at a later time, go over your future together. Yes, a conversation needs to happen. Yeah, bring it up. It suck big time, and I know you're already in pain because of your grandmother, but it's better than making false plans. You can start to make real plans, and he should give you as much support as he can while you do it, or you will be able to talk it out and move forward as a couple. But to be honest, you are 4 years younger and carrying most of the weight in this relationship, and he never said you weren't. I'm not sure if you want to continue to do that. I pay our rent. He moved in with me because he had roommates, and I take care of more than half of our essential/non-essential expenses, have my degree, and generally take care of our home, while encouraging his hard work towards moving up in his job. Why do you support a career of a guy 4 years older than you, with whom you have been for only 9 months? He is taking huge advantage of you. He gets to further his career at your expense, and he will probably leave you. Don't do this in your next relationship. He is 26, so I don't think he doesn't understand that he is using you. You wouldn't be saying that if a man was supporting a woman in that way. Which to that I have no idea what he's talking about because I pay our rent. He moved in with me because he had roommates, and I take care of more than half of our essential/non-essential expenses, have my degree, and generally take care of our home, while encouraging his hard work towards moving up in his job as well as keeping a meaningful relationship with his best friend. So it's not like I'm dead weight. Why are you being a sugar mommy and maid to a man you've been dating for 9 months? You're not going to get an award for being a doormat. You're just going to get trampled. Yes, talk to him, but also cut all that s*** out. Insist on being equal partners and see if he stays. Yeah, if she is paying rent by herself, the guy's an a-hole, and it makes the texts to his mom terrible regardless of his reasons to not break up with her yet. He is not taking care of her, she's taking care of him. Grandma passing as a reason to stay with her longer while having subsidize his lifestyle and his career doesn't sound like an out of goodness of his heart move. I wouldn't say anything to him. If he wants to end the relationship, then he needs to put on his big boy pants and do it. And since you've had time to process this information, when he does eventually end the relationship, just say okay. Don't beg or plead, or cry or look for answers. If you react in any way, he has the upper hand. If you act indifferent, you leave him nonplussed and *YOU**LL* have the upper hand. Just walk away and start fresh. Definitely confront. Say you did unfortunately see the text when he thought you were asleep, and how now would be the perfect time to come clean rather than making any poor big decisions. One time Steve Harvey said, "Don't let a man have to tell you twice that he don't want you." If he's expressing those feelings in any capacity, it might be worth it for you to move on. Whether you're on your own for a while or find someone who loves and respects you through and through, you deserve to live a life surrounded by people who truly appreciate you. Sounds like he's using you to have a nice place to live and everything taken care of for him until he gets back to mommy. You pay the rent and most of the expenses *A and D*, you do the housework. He's dead weight, and you clearly are taking care of him, and yet his mother thinks that isn't good enough, and he's so selfish that he doesn't want to worry about you after moving you to his comfortable home turf. And you haven't even been together a year and he's already mooching off you like this? He doesn't want a partner, he just liked having a bangmaid. There's nothing to work out. Let him move back home, and let his mom take care of him, if that's what she wants. Never be a grown man's mom. Dump him now, and after the sadness passes you'll be grateful he gave you the chance to dodge that bullet. And maybe get some therapy about why you're worried so much about being dead weight in a relationship where the other person is taking huge advantage of you. You need to value yourself more and expect more from a partner. You seem like a great person who shouldn't be settling for anything like this. I don't think he's saying you are dead weight. He's saying you're great, but he doesn't think he can contribute anything to a relationship right now. All relationships are give and take even with the most independent and self-sufficient partner, and he just wants to focus on himself. It is crappy that he is still acting like everything is okay while actively plotting to dump you. He owes it to you to be honest, so you have adequate time to make alternate plans. He is being selfish and this is dump worthy. Honestly, and shocked people don't outright ask what the F*** minute they hear this or see it. I would have sprint up grief or no grief and asked what games are you playing and just kicked him out the minute he started this. I have ended relationships for far less. This is disingenuous and betrayal. And if he is linked to his mom some s***, then please let me in, because I won't even try to build relationships with people who think so little of me. Right point. I would have been able to hold on to this info for exactly 5 minutes before absolutely losing my shit. Hold up, might just be me, but your phrasing says she hasn't done anything. I take this to mean that you are great, but that he is not in the right stage of life RN to be in a relationship and was sticking it out. Does that mean he's not gonna break up? No, but just make sure it is what you think it is first. Trying to get the gist of this. Is it that recently he has spent most of his recent time and emotion with you? That others around him have noticed he's not his usually self? Sometimes supporting the one you love in these circumstances can lead to burnout. I felt this when my wife's mother was dying then died. You need to sit down and look him in the eye and check out your individual aspirations. He may have some resentment that your time and emotions were temporarily elsewhere. By not talking, you will not get the answers and assume things. Talk. I think you can openly address that, and it would be the best for both of you. You reading the messages was not blatantly wrong, since you did not deliberately spy on him, but if you do not address this, you won't find peace of mind, and it will poison this relationship for you. There may be some misunderstanding that can be solved by open communication. If the message contains the whole story, or he is lying to his mother to please her out of cowardice to place, there likely is no future for the relationship. This being said, the contribution to the relationship sounds unbalanced with you paying most of the expenses and doing most of the caretaking work. Right now just refocus on processing your grief about your grandma. It sounds to me like he's just airing fears and concerns with his mum, not making big decisions or taking drastic action. He may well have already changed his mind, having just got those fears out of his head by telling his mom, and feels certain you're right for him. Sometimes just saying the words out loud, so to speak, lets them breathe and give you better perspective. Give yourself some more time with grief before you sit him down and ask about that conversation and what his long-term feelings are. Trust that for right now, he's got your best interests in mind and is there for you. When you feel more stabilized with your grief in a week or so, then you can sit down for some vulnerable, honest, big picture conversation. I'm sorry for your loss. I would pack his bags and leave them by the door when he comes home next. Let him know he will have plenty of time with his family and friends starting now. Looks like the trash wants to take himself out. Let him do it. Make sure he gets out of your apartment and you don't give him anything else. Sorry for your loss. You deserve better than this guy. You'll find the right person for you. I'm really sorry for your loss. You honestly sound like a really good catch, and this is his loss. I know that doesn't help in the current moment, but you will be better off without him in the long run. Stay close to your family to have a support system to help you through both losses. When we lost my grandpa, I was in a daze for a while because he was the first loss of someone so close to me. I've been very fortunate that way. Take the time you need and be gentle with yourself. First, I'm very sorry for the loss of your grandmother. Make sure you're getting emotional support from family and friends. With regards to your BF, this is how I look at it. Knowing what you know, is a confrontation worth the mental and emotional energy? Is it important for you to get him to admit anything? Because I wouldn't trust this guy. In other words, is he worth your time and energy? I think you'd be better served by breaking things off. Be vague. You don't owe him lots of detail. Just say you need to be close to your family. I feel like he's making you out to be the bad guy to his mom, for whatever reason. Take this as a lesson and move on with your life. Sounds like your BF and his mom might be enmeshed. First, I'm very sorry for the loss of your grandmother. Make sure you're getting emotional support from family and friends. With regards to your BF, this is how I look at it. Knowing what you know, is a confrontation worth the mental and emotional energy? Is it important for you to get him to admit anything? Because I wouldn't trust this guy. In other words, is he worth your time and energy? I think you'd be better served by breaking things off. Be vague. You don't owe him lots of detail. Just say you need to be close to your family. I feel like he's making you out to be the bad guy to his mom, for whatever reason. Take this as a lesson and move on with your life. You can't unknow what you know. Absolutely confront him and see what he has to say. He's supposed to proudly introduce you to his friends, not be feel tied down by your presence. If you don't like the explanation, cast this two-faced creep to the curb, because you deserve someone better. At 22 you have your whole life ahead of you. She doesn't like you because of what he's telling her. He's taking advantage and needs to leave. That was entirely too fast to move in together, especially with such an uneven distribution of payments. I would honestly just break up with him. He doesn't sound all that great and seems like you're trying to make excuses for him, then face the reality. How on earth did you see what and who he was texting? You must have some superhero kind of eyesight. And how did he not see that you were reading his texts? I was sleeping on his chest for about an hour, and he had his arms around me texting with his phone down by his hips, so it was right in front of my face. When I opened my eyes, I will say I deliberately did not move or indicate I was awake after realizing what they were talking about, and that was wrong of me. I'm glad I know, I think, but also it was an invasion of his privacy and I'm not proud of that.